Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the host of the No BS Coaching Advice podcast here on Anchor.fm. If you've always wanted to start a podcast, Anchor makes it ridiculously easy to do it. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's completely free and ridiculously easy to use. I know I've used two other services. One was very expensive, like $700 a month expensive, until I realized I was getting hosed, and now it costs me much less, but it still costs me. Another service that's inexpensive, but it still costs me. Again, it's 100% free. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. I do no BS coaching advice here, and it is a breeze. I can record on my laptop. I can record live off my phone. Again, very, very easy to use. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. This is the No BS Coaching Advice Podcast, episode 142. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to another show. By the way, if you didn't catch my in-between-isode yesterday, it's a nice little show based upon something I'd heard. And today's deals with a myriad of topics that I think you'll enjoy. And I'm going to start off by talking about little things. And in this case, it's literally little things. For example, my wife and I went to a street fair yesterday in our town. And I bought her an ice cream, and it's made out of hemp milk. And the ice cream had some chips within it. My wife is always fearful about dental stuff, and it was bothering her a little bit that it had chips in it, and she didn't know it when she bought it. So last night, she has a dream, and she tells me about it this morning, and it's about these crystals, these big rocks that she was chewing on that broke her teeth. And obviously this was a tie-in with the event from yesterday with the ice cream and the little chips in it. But it's amazing how our mind operates. Little things can become big things very quickly if we're not aware of it. We're not often aware of something as obvious as what happened in my wife's mind, where something simple turned into something monumental in the course of her sleep. We do that in the course of our waking hours. Just start paying attention to some of the things that make you uncomfortable, set you off, do something to disturb you, and how they serve. Friends are made to be listened to. We don't have to agree with them, but if they are a friend, they may have your best interests at heart. Listen to what they have to say. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to do what they tell you to do, but listen to it. See if there's a kernel of truth or whether it's really all about them. Because sometimes people's fears and insecurities surface and they throw them on to us. They throw them on to someone else rather than acknowledge their fear is leading them to giving this advice. But they're still meant to be listened to because there's a part of them that cares. Even in their fear, there's a part that cares because they don't want you to have happen to you what's going on with them. Listen. Do what you think is right, but always listen. As you listen to your friends, I want you to remember one thing. Again, fear, their fear, surfaces in funny ways. And they start telling you things that you can't do, that you shouldn't do, that it's impossible to do. and you know differently. Just remember that. You may know differently. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do without telling you what you can do. That's got to be your rule. Not what you can't do, but what you can't do and what you can do. Because otherwise, the box around you gets tighter and tighter and tighter and suffocatingly small. Everyone has an opinion about what someone else should do. You probably do too, but that's a different conversation. But for today, don't let anyone tell you what you can't do without telling you what you can do. One of my favorite questions to ask someone is, how do you know that? Like, people say a bunch of stuff, and it's an interpretation of a variety of different things, and asking them, how do you know that, forces them, makes them deconstruct their thinking in ways that you can ask questions. Now, I want to be clear. My goal here is not to be antagonistic with this. A lot of what I've spoken about are conversations with friends and how they want to pass on their fear or their insecurities or their own rules about life to you that you may not necessarily agree with, but you should hear because they're a friend. And how do you know that? How did you come to that decision? How did you come to that opinion? Goes a very long way toward you learning about your friend, you learning about others in such a way as that you can then make your own choice. And isn't that what you really want to do, is make your own decision? So that's today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you listen to the show. Just subscribe so you get downloads whenever I release a new episode. Each show is going to be bite-sized morsels of advice just like today's. I hope you enjoyed it, and I do hope you subscribe. And if you do choose to subscribe, I hope you decide to support the show. There's a link that will take you to anchor.fm where you can make a pledge in support of the show. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in my coaching you, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you listen to the show. I just happen to like knowing I'm helping some folks. And once we're connected, message me about your interest in coaching. We'll set up a free call. We'll get acquainted, see if it makes sense. I'll be back soon with more. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Take care.